Orchidium. June 27, 2013. Earth's passage through the summer solstice of 2013 was an energetic marker for the beginning of a new chaotic node. As your planet undergoes increased climate change, you will see further increases in meteorological novelty and unusual interactions between storm fronts. What used to be called 100-year storms will happen more frequently. These types of storms are outer manifestations of chaotic nodes and the escalation of chaos arising from seemingly unrelated levels of existence. While you have already experienced several chaotic nodes since 2011, you are at the beginning of another major crescendo in chaotic events. While this particular chaotic node will accelerate climatic and geological changes, as well as social unrest, it is your personal psychological and emotional level that may well be the most affected. You can expect to see a pronounced increase in emotional instability and psychological imbalances among your fellow humans, perhaps including yourself. The collective social challenges of this will be profound. For an initiate, meaning one on the journey to higher states of consciousness, this particular chaotic node is, and will continue to be, both extremely challenging and full of possibilities. The challenge has to do with the nature of this unique chaotic node, which drives to the surface of your conscious awareness deep-seated emotional toxicity. One of the challenges that spiritually inclined persons are experiencing, and will continue to experience for some time, is the deep recognition that they have unresolved issues and deep-seated hostilities that may not fit very well with their self-image. Indeed, this is a time when self-images will be shattered. You are seeing this unfold at the international level with governments, and you will see it unfold through all levels of society. But for many it will be the shattering of personal self-image that will be the most difficult to contend with. What we wish to convey is that your negativity, your toxicity, your despair and your hopelessness, if they are indeed present, need not be a negation of you. Rather, they can be portals into the deep unconscious, to the very bedrock of human subconscious intent. In the process of self-liberation, you must deal with this negativity in yourself regardless of the methods you may use to free yourself. The Orchidium. We now wish to impart a method for infusing yourself with light and life-enhancing energy. We introduce the method at this time because it will take great fortitude and personal energy to work through this particular chaotic node as well as the ones coming to you in the future. We call this the Orchidium. It is a very simple method that involves a biological metaphor and image. The greatest obstacle and the greatest difficulty with the Orchidium is its simplicity. Human beings tend to make things more complex than they need to be when it comes to this type of work. In its essence, the Orchidium is a means for you to draw into your ka, your energy body, as well as your physical body, high levels of spiritual light and life-enhancing energy, what the yogis call prana and what the Taoists call chi. In this method you imagine that there is an orchid-like flower in your navel. The central root of this imaginary flower is hollow and is anchored or rooted at a point in front of your backbone, directly opposite your navel. This area is known to Taoists as the Mingma or seat of life. It is from the seat of life that subtle energy is distributed to your subtle energy body and also to the organs of your physical body. This type of subtle energy has a very deeply nourishing and rejuvenating effect. When you hold an image of the Orchidium, you imagine that the stamen is extended out in front of you from the center of your navel. Stamens are the pollen-producing reproductive organs of a flower. They consist of a stole called a filament and an anther that produces the pollen. When you create the Orchidium via your imagination, the stamen protrudes from the center of the blossom. By its nature, the Orchidium draws into itself and then back into the Mingma, spiritual light and subtle energy from the cosmos. To engage the Orchidium, all you need do is to imagine this flower in whatever ways make sense to you so that its blossom is open, and the central root is hollow extending from the navel back into the Mingma. It is crucial for you to understand that the Orchidium draws these celestial energies to you by itself, by its own nature and without you having to do anything. There is no relationship between the flow of subtle energy into the Orchidium and your breath. Once you activate the flow of celestial energies to the Orchidium, they will flow automatically and unobstructed until you stop them. Sensitive individuals will soon discover that they can sense the flow of cosmic energies into the stamen of the Orchidium itself, but success does not depend on this level of sensitivity. This type of awareness is simply a refinement. What is important is to feel and sense the flow of spiritual light and energy down the central root, the hollow tube, from the Orchidium in your navel to your Mingma, and then to enjoy the flow of life force throughout your subtle and physical bodies as you wish. We suggest you experiment with this in 5-minute intervals so that you become familiar with how the Orchidium works for you and also to avoid overstimulation. It is possible to bring too much celestial energy into your system, which is why we suggest 5 minutes at a time. 5 minutes once a day is all that is required to familiarize yourself with the Orchidium and its potentials. Once you understand how the Orchidium works for you and how much celestial energy you can comfortably bring into yourself, you can experiment with longer sessions if you wish. After each Orchidium session, we strongly suggest you imagine the Orchidium closing so that the blossom is not open. This is for the purpose of self-protection when you enter into the world. Until you have learned how to separate life-positive energies from the life-negative energies that surround you, we suggest you engage this strategy of protection. Adding the Athos. While you can engage the Orchidium without any sound or music, in the beginning stages you may find the Athos sound meditation very helpful. This is because the pulsations within this sound piece facilitate the movement of celestial energies within the Orchidium root, which connects into your Mingma. As you listen to the Athos sound meditation, when engaging the Orchidium, pay special attention to the hollow channel, the root, which runs from the Orchidium into your Mingma. The sonic pulsations within the Athos will amplify the flow of celestial energies into this channel. Philosophical and religious obstructions. While the method of engaging the Orchidium is simple, the consequences in terms of your life force and your capacity to hold spiritual light are quite complex. There is another complexity here, but it has to do with your belief systems. If you do not rise above these limited beliefs, you will constrain the flow of celestial energies. You live in a cosmos of exquisite unimaginable beauty, spiritual light, consciousness and energy. You are an heir to all of these treasures, and each of them imparts to you powers of consciousness, yet you are cut off from your birthright by many of your philosophies and religions. Any religion that teaches that you have been separated from the celestial light-filled realms because you have a physical body is an obstruction to the truth of your being, as we view it. Any religion that says that you are separated from the heavenly worlds and their treasures through the sin of your birth is also, in our view, an obstruction. Those philosophies that propose that you are merely a physical being with no dimensions of consciousness transcendent to time and space are, in our view, obstructions as well. For the sake of experimenting with the Orchidium, we suggest you temporarily suspend these beliefs. See for yourself how well the Orchidium works when you actually suspend these limiting thought forms. After working with the Orchidium in this manner, sans limiting beliefs, you might even choose to leave those beliefs and thought forms permanently behind you altogether. When working with the Orchidium, we suggest the following thought forms. 1. Imagine that you are a part of, an heir to, all the treasures of the cosmos, the highest realms of light and the most subtle life-enhancing energies. 2. Imagine that the Orchidium effortlessly draws into you these treasures whenever you choose to open the blossom. 3. Through the Orchidium, you can experience the transformation of your subtle energy body and the vital organs of your physical body. Use this enhanced energy and life force as well as the light force to sustain you as you move through this potent chaotic node and the ones to follow. The Hathors. Channeled through Tom Kenyon. TomKenyon.com